Tom and Rachel are still very much together because they're sending mail and packages back and forth to each other.
Let's break down the very first episode of Season 11 for Vanderpump Rules. Hey everyone, it's Hannah Fletcher. Welcome back to Shared News. Let's talk all about Vanderpump Rules. I can't believe that we've made it to Season 11. I mean, I can because the ratings were absolutely off the charts. Scandoval was the vehicle to actually end up saving and preserving this long time running series. However, let's just get into everything involving what to expect and what's to come. Now, just to give you guys a heads up, if you haven't seen the episode, or even if you have, this is very much just like a check-in with everybody. This is like, where's everybody at a couple months post Scandoval? How's everybody doing? Who's still talking to who? It is very much a check-in, setting the tone type of episode. We didn't get any crazy drama. We got a little bit, and I see where things could potentially take off for the episodes to come, but we got a little bit of drama, but nothing too crazy. So still sit back, relax, get your popcorn, and let's break down the very first episode of Vanderpump Rules. All right, kicking it off, we have Katie and Ariana. They're together at Ariana and Tom's house, which they are currently trying to figure out what the heck to do with. Ariana and Tom still very much live together. What's really interesting is the fact that like they kept showing this, I want to call it a mural. Correct me if I'm wrong. I guess it's some type of like mural that they clearly got put up. It's a custom job in the house. It's a beautiful mural. Like the way that it was done was so nice, but it's still up. Now, granted, it might be like embedded into the wall. It probably is, but just judging by how everything went down, I feel like that wouldn't be on the wall. I feel like they would have paid to take that down. So Tom and Ariana are still living in the same house together, but it looks like Tom was off filming Special Forces, so he's not really in this episode altogether. And then, of course, at the end, we see Tom rolling up with some type of suitcase, so we can assume that he's back. But we do know for a fact that Ariana and Tom are still living in the house together, and they're basically just trying to figure out how to move on in terms of how to agree in order to decide the fate of the home. And obviously, to today, this is an ongoing battle. Now, we see Katie, we see Ariana, they're doing great with one another. Ariana looks good, she looks happy and healthy. Katie looks great, and obviously, we see these two women supporting each other and just being great friends, and they're kicking it off by deciding that they want to go thrift shopping for fun little glasses to put in their sandwich shop, something about her. Moving on, we get Allie and James. Now, James and Allie are so cute. They just bought a house in Burbank with one another. I think it's a really, really cute little home, every shot that we were able to see. Allie and James had a conversation outside. Allie was asking James where he stands with Tom Sandoval. Does he think that there would ever be a reconciliation of any point? And he basically said that Tom went cuckoo and that there's really not a chance as of right now that he's going to try and have any type of a friendship with Tom Sandoval. Understandably so, he did iconically call him a worm with a mustache, so I don't expect the great James Kennedy to go back on his words and go back on his actions. And I think that he made history, and just honestly, he should make merch for worm with a mustache, in my opinion. So I'm glad that these two are not like reconciling. I feel like this is something that I don't want to see, and I'm glad that obviously James and Allie are doing great, and I'm really, really fine with Tom Sandoval and James just not being friends. And then we head on over, we see Brock and Sheena. Now, Sheena and Brock, obviously they share beautiful little summer moon together. Now, apparently Sheena mentioned that she reached out to Tom Sandoval to express condolences since one of his friends passed away, and apparently this friend was very close with a lot of the people in the cast. Now, apparently Tom received her text message, Sheena mentioned, and then he went and blocked her phone number and blocked all of the accounts that are affiliated with Sheena, down to her daughter's account, Summer Moon's account on Instagram. He blocked it completely. So I thought that was really fascinating. I kind of agree with Sheena. Like, how could you block Summer Moon's account? Now, granted, obviously Summer Moon is not old enough to really even be on Instagram, much less like care. So I kind of thought that was interesting that she was so upset about it. But at the same time, I mean, she wasn't like causing havoc or anything like that. But again, Tom, it's just like, what? Okay, that was a choice, but okay, you know, that's where we're at with Brock and Sheena and Tom. It's just clearly not friends at this point. Next, we saw that Lala is living with her mom. Lala is trying to basically soften herself. Overall, she feels that she just gives off a very harsh vibe, and she's trying to feel emotions. We see this throughout this entire episode. So she also mentioned to her mom that she's questioning absolutely everybody's motives. She also did really question Ariana's new boyfriend's motives, and we'll get to him here in a second. But it seems like she's just really trying to be in tune with her emotions. And I don't know, the Lala that we saw at the reunion reunion is not the Lala that we're seeing in this particular season premiere episode. So we'll see where this goes, but it looks like Lala is trying to be a softie, and we'll dive into that more here in just a second as well. Moving on, we have James and Tom Schwartz. They're together. They're friends. They're totally fine despite the fact that Schwartz kissed Raquel last season. Little peck, no big deal, according to Schwartz. Now, apparently, Ariana has not spoken to Tom Schwartz, and this was a really funny point in the episode. Tom mentioned that Ariana sent him a text message and then blocked him, and the text message was very vulgar. You guys have to check out the episode if you really want all of those details. I'm not going to say those words here on Shared News. I'm not going to do that, but it seems like Ariana and Schwartz are not on talking terms, but it's not for a lack of Schwartz wanting to actually have a conversation with Ariana, but Ariana did mention that she is not in any way, shape, or form looking to have any type of a friendship with him. And he also went on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen several months post Scandoval and said a couple of things that definitely set Ariana off, i.e. he wanted for everybody to just give Tom Sandoval a hug even if he doesn't deserve it. And I think that's really what Ariana deemed as being the straw that broke the camel's back. So they are not talking. And again, it is not because Tom Schwartz doesn't want to. So let's dive into Ariana's boyfriend. So we find out a little bit more that Ariana has moved on to a new man. I really like him. I think that he's cute. I think that they're cute together. It was a very quick turnaround, but again, Ariana's not in her 20s anymore. I feel like it's okay maybe in this particular instance for her to have jumped to a different relationship so quickly, especially if this guy is like really meeting all of her needs and they're long distance. If he's long distance and he can meet her needs, that's even more impressive in my opinion. So Ariana mentioned that she met her boyfriend at a mutual friend's wedding, and that's how they got connected. And now Brock is friends with him and they train together at the gym. Ariana's boyfriend is a trainer, and yeah, he doesn't live here in LA. So I think that that's very fascinating. And I am just very shocked to honestly have seen her move on so quickly. I've known about him obviously for a while now because of all of the news that's been broken about this new man, but it seems like they're very, very happy together, and that's what I love to see. Moving on into the episode, everybody is going over to TomTom. James, of course, is going to be the DJ, and Ariana mentioned that she was very nervous about going over to TomTom because that's where she found out about the whole start of her learning all of the information that was to come with Scandoval. So it's a very intense moment. It's a very intense place for her. It's very obvious. It's very evident. But I totally get it. I would be in the same exact boat if I were her. But all of her friends were there supporting her, trying to get her through it. And she did see Tom Schwartz in person. He tried to talk to her multiple times and it was just not happening. Tom Schwartz was just like hiding behind the bar at one point. It's just, he's going through it. He's definitely going through it. Understandably so. It's a whole thing, you guys. So moving on, let's talk a little bit more about Miss Lala being so sensitive. So Lala pulled Lisa Vanderpump aside and talked to her about Raquel. And she mentioned that she wanted to basically not associate Raquel with the whole mistress hat anymore, and she didn't want for Raquel to wear that hat moving forward. She said that it's not a fun place to be in, and she very much sympathized with Raquel. I thought that this was leaps and bounds for Lala. Regardless as to how you feel about the situation, the fact that she's like having all of these epiphanies and everything like that, I'm really wondering like what resonated, what changed for her, and I would love to ask her that, like what actually really changed around and made her have these epiphanies. And I'm proud to see that she is growing, and I'm not sure how it's going to be received in the friend group though, and the extent of the growth that is to come for Lala. So we'll have to stay tuned and stick around for that. She did send a voice memo over to Raquel. Raquel saw it. Apparently she did not get a response back, and we later found this out on an episode of Watch What Happens Live. Lala did mention that Raquel did not respond to said voice memo. Now, I think Raquel has completely cut ties with the cast altogether, so that is understandable. But again, it is very interesting too, out of anybody, that Lala's the one that was reaching out, because Lala was really going in on her, especially during the reunion. That 3-part reunion, wow. Again, understandably so, but wow, Lala was going in on her. Another thing to keep in mind when it comes to Rachel is the fact that we have heard, according to sources that opened up to TMZ, that she is definitely going to be staying tuned with what is going on in terms of the show. She's definitely going to be watching because she wants to know if she has to go over to Rachel Goes Rogue and set the record straight in any way, shape, or form. So she will be watching from what we understand. I think that that's a very interesting point and factor. I've also read a lot of different things and seen many different interviews with Lisa Vanderpump Vanderpump, for example, with other cast members, where a lot of people were just really encouraging for her to go back and actually set the record straight verbally with the cast. And I'm curious to know if you guys think that she should have made the return to season 11 or not. I'm kind of surprised that Sandoval did, to be honest with you. So for her to not have returned doesn't completely shock me. I was more shocked to find out that Tom, however, was returning. But a paycheck's a paycheck, and I guess he's really going to need that because he probably isn't getting too much support in other areas. Let me know all of your thoughts as well in regards to Rachel, aka Raquel, aka Rachel, whatever you'd like to call her. She'll be tuning into Vanderpump Rules as well, so I'm curious to know what you guys are thinking about that. I personally totally see why she's going to be watching, and I'm really curious to see what her reaction is and if she'll be giving a play-by-play, even if it's not in response to what it is that's being said and talked about in terms of her. And wrapping up the episode, towards the end here, we saw Katie and Schwartz obviously trying to have a quick in and out situation. Katie just wanted to go pick up the dogs. Schwartz always is like, do you want to stick around? Do you want to hang out? I just love Katie and Tom's relationship. It is so funny to me. I love that these two are just so, it's just Tom just like being like a little kid, like, do you want to stay over? And she's just like, not really. She's so funny to me. Katie Maloney, I love you. Now, I think that these two have such a funny dynamic, and I just love to see it play out on camera. It's like the comedic relief for me is every time she goes over to pick up the dogs. Now, let's talk about the ending of this episode. We have Ariana, Lala, Sheena, and Katie. They're all together. They're having dinner. And basically, Katie mentioned that she saw Schwartz earlier in the day. During that interaction where she did go to pick up the dogs, Schwartz was very much trying to encourage Katie, to encourage Ariana to have a conversation. Ariana seems like she is just not down for that at all, understandably so. Then basically this conversation turned into Lala opening up and later divulging that she did send a voice memo over to Raquel. Now the thing is, Ariana brought up a very good point that a year ago, when Lala and Randall had broken up, Lala mentioned about how she didn't want anybody in her immediate circle to have any type of contact with her ex, that's just not something that she wants. And then Ariana did mention that, and you could tell that it bothered Ariana, and I feel like this is going to be a recurring problem throughout this season. I feel like Lala is going to, I don't know if she's going to continue to have these epiphanies and continue to try to enter her soft girl era by any means, but it seems like Ariana is definitely on edge. It seems like she took the higher route there and just didn't say anything more about the situation. She acknowledged where Lala was coming from and just kind of put it to bed there. But I'm afraid that this is going to come up a little bit throughout this season. And I'm kind of wondering if Lala and Ariana aren't going to potentially butt heads a little bit. And I wouldn't have thought that, but maybe it's going to happen. I don't know. I'm starting to see how seeds could be planted for future drama. So we will have to stick around and stay tuned to find out to that. But all in all, I think that this was a really great starter episode. I'm very, very, very excited for this season and to see more episodes. Like I mentioned, there wasn't a ton of drama, but you can start to see the push-pull, the dynamic. You know, Tom Sandoval is clearly not really going to be friends with anybody. Tom Schwartz is hardly friends with anyone. And it looks like Ariana and Lala might be going a little bit, not head to head, but there might be a little bit of tension because Lala's trying to basically not forgive Raquel, but give her a break. And Ariana is not ready to hit that point, if she will ever be ready to hit that point. So I see all sides. I am just sitting back and enjoying the journey of Vanderpump Rules. Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comment section. Who are you guys rooting for this season? Who do you agree with? Who do you disagree with? You know, everybody here at Shared News, we love Vanderpump Rules. We would love to hear what you guys are saying. So sound off in the comments below. Let us know all of your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you like this video if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button and turn those notifications on so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. As always, I'm your host, Hannah Fletcher. You guys can follow me on social media. My handle is right there on the screen. So come on over and say hello, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.